This is when 50 Cent humbles every wannabe gangster rapper who ever tested him.
With all his police protection courtesy of G-Unit. And the winner is Missy Elliott featuring Sierra and Fat Man Scoop. Fat Chill is hey man. Boys. Good.
It's Fat Joe's record. I listened to it. It hurt me.
We have to start with Ja Rule. Before Vitamin Water, Power, and the Business Empire, 50 Cent made his name through this feud. It wasn't just diss tracks. He attacked Ja Rule's career with relentless consistency and creativity.
And please tell the people what you did, because I bought like the first 4 rows in his concert. You bought the first 4 rows in his concert? Yeah, they was like on Groupon for $15. It wasn't a big deal. They was showing me the stuff on there with my sister and stuff, and I said, yo, they put concert tickets on? And I looked, and his tickets was...
And when the host asked what happened when Ja Rule actually walked out on stage to an empty front section, this was 50's reaction.
I was like, how much are the tickets? $15. I said, okay, give me the first 4 rows. How many seats is that? Well, it's gotta be like 200 seats. That still ain't but like $3,000. So when he came out, there's nobody in the first 4 rows of his concert? You do not want to you.
As for Fat Joe, he wasn't just an innocent bystander in the Ja Rule war, he was deep in it. Joe had aligned himself with Murder Inc. during the height of that beef, putting himself directly in 50's crosshairs. And by 2005, Fat Joe had been taking shots at 50 in interviews and on records for the better part of 2 years. So when the MTV Video Music Awards brought everybody to the same building in Miami, cameras rolling, the whole industry in the building, Joe saw his moment. He was on stage presenting an award, and instead of playing it straight, he decided to use his podium time to take a very public dig at 50 Cent's gangster image in front of the entire world.
I like to tell the people who I feel so safe tonight with all this police protection courtesy of G-Unit. And the winner is Missy Elliott featuring Sierra and Fat Man Scoop.
50 got to a mic later that same night, and he was not going to let it breathe.
Fat Chill is man. Good. You know what niggas is true.
But Joe got off easy compared to what came next, because months later, 50 posted this skit to his own channel after sitting through Joe's new album.
It's Fat Joe's record. I listened to it. It hurt me. I don't care. I can't do it. I don't care about the money. Who cares about the money?
The game's situation was different. This wasn't 50 Cent going after an enemy. It was someone he helped build. Game came in as Dr. Dre's West Coast signee, but when his debut stalled, 50 stepped in and rescued it. He didn't just feature, he helped write, shape concepts, and bring the project together. The result was one of the most celebrated hip-hop albums of the 2000s, with hits like How We Do, West Side Story, and Hate It or Love It. Then Game returned from overseas acting like none of it happened, taking shots and distancing himself. So 50 went on Power 105 and finally aired everything.
Hey, now let's talk about the G-Unit for a minute, 50.
Yeah.
Now I read where you said Game was about to be dropped from Aftermath Interscope before you got involved. That's true?
Yes, it was absolutely the truth.
How did that transpire?
Creatively, the tires got stuck in the mud, and you know what I mean? So we actually got together. I recorded 6 records on Game's new album.
Right.
I did West Side Story, How We Do, Hate It or Love It, Church for Thugs, Special, and Higher.
And then he went ahead and announced Game's removal from G-Unit on the same interview.
You see what I'm saying? And he came back recently from overseas and was disrespectful, man. Like the way he's like, it's like he's feeling himself, like because of how well his record is selling. You know, so I openly, I wouldn't expose what I did for the project, but I wrote those records. I created the concept of those records and he rapped around it. He's a great rapper. He's not a good songwriter. You know what I mean?
There's a difference.
It's a major difference.
Oh, yeah.
And he says a lot of people's names for shock value. He says things he doesn't mean. He says a lot of things to take it back. He says,
While that interview was airing on Power 105, Game was live on Hot 97 with Angie Martinez, and a caller broke the news to him in real time.
He said his next album, he ain't doing nothing for you. You gonna sell like 500,000 copies.
That's what he said?
That's what he said.
Wow. What you think about that, man?
Yo, Game, don't hurt this cat. Don't hurt this cat, man. This is a clown, man.
Hey, yo,
I'm
man.
from Rockaway, Queens, man.
Hey, yo, you know what I'm gonna do, man?
What you gonna do, baby?
I'm gonna be easy and I'm gonna make good music, homie.
That's all,
And you know what else I'm gonna do, big dog?
What you gonna do?
I'm gonna keep it 100% hood and still cross over.
That's what's up, baby.
All the time, from Rockaway, Queens to Compton.
Now, Rick Ross is a different case entirely, because what makes this one so legendary is that it was not about a diss track or a back and forth on wax. Rick Ross had spent years building one of the most immaculate drug lord personas in hip-hop history. The Boss, the biggest boss. The man who moved weight like a Caribbean cartel leader and rapped about it like he had lived every single bar he ever wrote. It was airtight, it was aspirational, and the fan base bought in completely. But 50 Cent came across a very specific detail from before the Boss era. Before the record deal, before Maybach Music Group, before any of it. And once he had it, he was not going to sit on it quietly. Because it turned out that before Rick Ross was the biggest boss, he was employed by the state of Florida as a correctional officer. And as 50 was quick to point out, those two things cannot coexist.
he can still write a verse, but his verse always has drug dealer references in him. When he's admitted to being a correctional officer. In order to be a correctional officer, you have to not have any criminal history.
That's right.
Ross eventually addressed the CO situation directly, and the explanation somehow only gave 50 more material.
Were you a correctional officer at one point?
I was, yeah.
So going all the way back, when was that? How long ago?
Maybe when I was 20.
20 years old?
Yeah.
What kind of people were in there?
You know, I didn't really get to make it to the prison. Because you got to go through training and all that, and I didn't last long.
Right.
I may have last 4 months.
What made you want to do that?
One of my big homies had just got in trouble, and a lot of things were going on, and he just suggested it.
And then 50 came back with this, because for him, the CO history was just the foundation.
What kind of rich nigga cut his own grass? Why you out there cutting your own grass? You trying to save money, nigga? You don't want to pay for the lawn to get cut, huh?
Let me ask you.
The AC broken in the mother.
But it wasn't just rappers who learned not to dismiss 50 Cent publicly. Because Steve Stout is a music industry executive, one of the most respected branding minds in the business. The man built a career translating hip-hop culture into 9-figure endorsement deals for brands like McDonald's and HP. He was the bridge between the streets and the boardroom for decades. So when he sat down on Hot 97 with Angie Martinez and started laying out his list of the most financially and culturally influential people in hip-hop, Dr. Dre, Jay-Z, Puff Daddy, Kanye West, and then took the time to make a detailed, specific case for why 50 Cent had not earned a spot on that list and was essentially a relic of a moment that had passed, it was not just an industry opinion, it was a calculated public statement from someone with enough credibility for it to stick. And 50 was not going to let it sit there.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't had a hit in a really long time. I mean, he has not made anything musically that's changed anything in a very long time. And I feel like he's always like gearing up for something that never happens. Hopefully, you know, now that he's independent and there's no record company to blame, you know, his aggressive content can get on the air. I don't know.
50 ran into Stout courtside at a Knicks game at Madison Square Garden shortly after. And the footage tells you everything. And when 50 sat down after the fact, he broke down exactly what he walked up to Stout and said.
Like, I always felt like we didn't have communications following a meeting that I had with him, and it felt like he just wanted confirmation of what he thought was going on the street. And he ain't that. You know what I'm saying? He never been that. So, like, if he's pretending to be that, it's the wrong thing to do. And I'm going, so what is it? Like, the problem? Like, when I'm approaching him, I'm saying, if there's a problem, then let it be there. That's the part I'm good at.
Now, Cameron wasn't just beefing with 50 personally. This was about Dipset's money. 50 was in the Hot 97 studio promoting Curtis when he started publicly calling Coke Records a graveyard, claiming he had the power to shut projects down there. That was a direct attack on Dipset's entire independent operation because Jim Jones had just signed a distribution deal with Coke, and that infrastructure was the backbone of everything they were building outside the major label system. Cameron heard enough and picked up the phone. LA, live on air. And he did not come in swinging emotionally. He came with actual label valuations, deal numbers, revenue figures. Coke's parent company had done close to $600 million. The label itself sold for $80 million. Cam turned down a $10 million offer from them because he said it wasn't even 1% of what the company was worth. This was peak street executive energy, and 50 sat there and waited for him to finish.
I just want to step in because I heard you could shut things down over here, and I just want to make sure what's going on. You know, they owe me some things over here. I just want to see what's going on. You can shut down Diplomat projects.
I'm not talking about diplomats. Is it? You really want that?
Nah, that's what I was asking. Can you do it? That's what I'm asking.
What I'm saying to you is, listen, let me explain something to you.
Cam tried to use Jim Jones selling 300,000 units on Coke as proof the label worked. 50 flipped it immediately. Lloyd Banks sold the same number on a major label and walked away with significantly more money. Cam's own evidence ended up proving 50's graveyard point.
Well, Lloyd Banks is at 300,000.
Hey, he's on Amazing. Jim is at 300,000.
Right. And that's great for Jimmy, but Jimmy's not. Let's look. That's great for Jimmy.
And then after all of Cam's numbers and arguments, this is how 50 chose to summarize the whole conversation.
This didn't,
See what I'm saying?
But this didn't start out bad. This went bad somewhere.
I think that he thinks that he actually is able to compete with me. See, but that's just a mind frame. That's his mindset right now.
Cam tried one more angle, bringing up the anger management and therapy detail to make 50 look unstable. 50 didn't even blink.
You can get angry like that. What's that gonna do? It's not gonna change anything for me. And which means I'm in control at that point.
Right.
Because I have control over his emotions at this point.
And you like that?
And if that wasn't enough, off the radio, 50 also made sure to address what True Life had done to Cam's street credibility. Because the timing of that couldn't have been worse for Dipset's image.
That's why I didn't never make it a 50 Cent versus Dipset thing. I just kept it 50 Cent and Cameron because he made a mistake, you know what I mean?
But
see, where's Cameron? He's missing right now.
Okay, but it's Jim Jones.
But the coldest move 50 made in the whole Cameron situation had nothing to do with the radio. He spotted that Jim Jones was watching Lloyd Banks and G-Unit and wanting his own moment. And he used that to pull Cam's closest partner out of the camp entirely.
That's the Lloyd Banks. It's Lloyd Banks thing. He wanted that. He was watching them be that, like Mace be that and Cam be that, and looked at, and it was finally he had one.
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked, and I knew I just took the shot, Murder, to see, because I wasn't sure he was gonna go for it. Mm-hmm. But I was like, we like Jimmy better than you anyway, Cam. Then you gotta watch to see how he responds. And then when you see, he like, oh, he really like that.
When 50 Cent produced his documentary exposing Diddy, not everyone in the industry was applauding the move. Jim Jones, Mino, Fabulous, and Dave East sat down on their podcast and were asked how they'd feel if someone made a documentary about them without their approval. And the crew essentially came out defending Diddy's position, calling the whole concept petty and comparing it to releasing someone's tape without permission.
Is it acceptable for someone to create a documentary about you without your approval? How would you feel if it happened to you?
It's like
definitely not acceptable. It's facetious and petty.
Right. It's like somebody putting out your sex tape.
Yeah, if you want to make, yeah, exactly.
It's like
without your permission.
And you're not an actual star.
And they doing
The lighting wasn't good or nothing.
yeah, they're
It's
trying to
like,
make you just look bad. Oh, they caught me on a bad day.
right.
And then the more measured take from the same conversation, which 50 saw just as clearly as the first part.
But I would feel.
I ain't gonna front. I think if they saluting you,
First of all, they want somebody doing a documentary about you. You want it to be a dope documentary.
It gotta be dope.
Showing who you are, what you've done,
Put out no bullshit
everything
on
you've
me.
accomplished. Like, yeah, documentary is a big thing. Like, you don't want nobody doing a documentary about like trying to just make your whole character look weak. Like, that's petty behavior.
50 didn't respond with a diss or a rebuttal. He called the landlord of the building where their podcast was being recorded and posted the entire conversation.
Trying to build it, but he won't sign the lease. He's like, I don't like these terms. I want like 6 months of build out and ridiculous bullshit. We also have a partnership agreement where half of what he's building now, his media, belongs to us. But he won't tell us how much he's making and doing all these things. So half of the content he's creating, if you want to buy that too, I'll sell you half the company. He's not a business. He's like insane. To me, it's worth very little to nothing. But if it works out for you, I just throw that in as a sweetener. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is he signed a lease with me. Right now he owes, I'm going to say it in a short way, at least $80,000, if not $180,000.
And then in February 2026, surveillance footage dropped of Jim Jones physically kicking the door to that same studio, trying to get inside. 50, now claiming co-ownership through Sam, posted the clip over Biggie's Kick in the Door instrumental and captioned it, "Sam is my partner. I own the joint. Fix every door you kick, or I'm gonna kick your ass, Jimmy." Jones also responded by doing a tour of the same studio he allegedly owed months of rent on, and it only made everything worse.
Since I'm starting the year off at the top of your Explorer, are you not entertained? Since everybody want to put my business in the street, I might as well talk to you about my business. Right now, I am in the second phase of construction, and we're not open to public. This is a raw space. I have not found out yet what I want to do exactly in this space, but in my mind.
As for French Montana, his situation is one of the wildest ones on this list because he was not even 50's direct target at the start. French came up through the Bronx the hard way, shooting DVDs, grinding the mixtape circuit, building a name for himself in a lane nobody handed to him. And when the mainstream finally came calling, he was running with Rick Ross and DJ Khaled at the height of Maybach Music's power. That alignment put him directly in the middle of 50 Cent's war with Ross. And instead of staying neutral, French went to 50's side and started feeding him information, locations, addresses, footage connected to Khaled's family, things that gave 50 real operational intelligence during the beef. And 50 did not keep that quiet.
And you know, Frenchie, they got me the tape. They got me the tape of his mother's house, where his mom's work at. You know what I'm saying? The other cribs, the studios, stuff like that.
That's the Cali tape.
Right.
Okay.
I had all of it. They were staying in Atlanta. All of them locations. Because I ain't taking no L's. You can trust me. You do something, we're going to do it live. I'm not even going to hide it.
And on top of that, French bought a 2008 Bugatti and posted the flex online. And 50 had a lot to say about that.
French Montana say that you paid for the star, but once you get nominated, everybody pays for the star. That's what I was always told.
Yeah. But look, I don't know what's wrong with that kid. Like, something's wrong with him. You know what I mean? Like, he puts up the Bugatti talking about, well, he had toilet paper.
Eventually, French went public about why he decided to just let the whole situation go.
So why did you think you had to do that now? Was you just over it, or is it what made you say, you know what, let's just let it go?
You know, it's like when you beefing, like you feel handicapped. You can't handle nothing. You can't move here. You can't do this. It's like you feel like, you stuck to a little space. You know what I'm saying? I want to expand. I done beefed my whole career. Since
Yeah.
you know me 15
That's
years
true.
ago.
Right, true.
Since you know me, I've been beefing. Whatever these kids is doing, whatever's going on, I done did it, I done ran.
Now, Meek Mill is someone who had real tension with 50, but the backstory matters here. Meek came up out of Philadelphia as a battle rapper, and that confrontational, never back down energy was the whole foundation of his brand. So, when his public situation with Drake unfolded in 2015 the way that it did, Meek throwing the first shots and then not following up the way the culture expected him to, 50 was watching all of it closely and had his own take on where Meek's energy actually went when things got real. The two of them had been circling each other for a while when they finally came face to face, and Meek made a choice in that moment that 50 said he genuinely did not expect.
People who pick fights with people who don't want to fight, those are punks. Meek Mills, when I ran into him finally, he said, yo, come here, let me talk to you. I need to talk to you like a man on the side, put me to the side. And he was talking and I was looking at him and I wanted to punch him. And I didn't. I just looked at him and I was like, yo, I don't understand why you felt like that. Because he's a battle artist. That's where you come from. Mm-hmm. So when he says something to Drake and then doesn't respond, when Drake says something back, I'm going, what happened?
But showing mercy in private didn't stop 50 from pulling out the scoreboard when Meek and Rick Ross dropped their joint album and the first week numbers came in.
When you sell 31,000 and 9 CDs, I shouldn't talk to you.
I'm out here, yeah. I'll scrap. They don't know him. I keep asking them about these. They don't know.
And we gotta end with Casanova, because this one is different from every other entry on this list. Casanova was not a fake. He came out of Brooklyn with a background that was not manufactured for the culture. Real jail time before the deal ever came through. Real ties to real organizations. A flow that matched the aggression of everything he had actually lived. When he and 50 connected on Get the Strap, it felt like a genuine alignment between two survivors who understood each other. But 50 was watching more than the music. He was watching the patterns in how Casanova was still moving in the streets while trying to build a rap career. And he saw the same thing he had seen take down countless people before him. Gang culture pulling someone into a lane where the only destinations are prison or a funeral. So 50 started saying something to him directly, not on social media. To him, personally.
Listen. It's a lot. Because the music is so close to the street, Mary, that the street ends up in the music. And like they start to write about what's happening as far as like the drill music is concerned. Like gang culture wasn't as big when I came. Because we come from hustlers. I come from people. The financial part of living better is connected to all of the street, all their motivation. Like when you get the gang stuff, it's more, they honor violence. They honor the guy who does more damage.
And then 50 said the one line that made everything land different once the federal charges actually came down.
Like gang culture wasn't as big when I came. Because we come from hustlers. I come from people. The financial part of living better is connected to all of the street, all their motivation. Like when you get the gang stuff, it's more, they honor violence. They honor the guy who does more damage. So I'm trying to get a clearer perspective on them because they come to me. I don't like conspiracy. I don't like the word Rico. Like none of that. So I would tell, actually I was telling Casanova that stay away from that. But you know, things still happen.